Welcome to What's for Lunch? Conversation about trends and trade in food and ag and how it all affects what's on your plate. This podcast brings relevant information in a unique way. It's relevant to food businesses, farmers, and consumers, and it's unique in that it approaches these relevant issues from an entirely different angle. I'm Susan Burns, your lunchtime host and on-call business lawyer. Our motto is always interesting, always lively, and today is definitely not an exception to that. We are talking with Jared Truby, one of the founders and owners of Cat and Cloud Coffee, located in Santa Cruz, California. Cat and Cloud Coffee serves up way more than coffee. In this conversation, we're going to talk about the importance of mission and how mission and vision sustain and guide a business even through difficult legal battles. Quite the ride you've been on. Welcome, Jared.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's good. This is great. So just give me a little bit about your background and I think you've been involved in the coffee industry for a bit before you decided to start this business. Yeah?
I've been in coffee for about 20 years now. I call it the school of hard knocks in that I learned and watched a few businesses grow. And I was the original employee at Verve Coffee Roasters, which is now a multinational company. They're over in Japan as well as heavy in California, San Francisco, LA, and Santa Cruz where we started.
Wow.
And through watching them grow, I was there for a good 7 years. Watched them grow a lot, kind of learned how values and accidentally, right, not establishing values and mission and vision early can not prohibit your success per se, but can really affect the ability to have a aligned culture in the context of growth. And so I became really passionate about it over the years. And ultimately, when you can see a better way to do business and you cannot convince other people to do it, you ultimately have the ultimatum of, do I, with some people, step up and do the right thing and what I believe in, or do I, fall in line with the status quo, which I think is easier to do for a lot of people. I took the latter road, and 3 years later, almost, here we are with 3 cafes, 4th on the way, 50 team members, and a bunch of other fun stuff.
You're singing my song. I'm always status quo is no go.
I agree.
Yeah. So you wanted to start a business that had a particular mission. Tell us about your mission and the vision of Cat and Cloud Coffee.
Yeah, so our mission is to leave people happier than we found them. And our vision is to change the way the world. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll go into both, but our vision is to change the way the world does business. So back to the mission. For us, even though specialty coffee and that whole thing is really, really important to us. It's really culinary. We love it. We love it. We love it. But coffee is our catalyst for change. And the third place, that kind of thankfully Starbucks started in the States, the espresso culture, the ability to go to a cafe and have community is really important. And the way you leave people feeling and the memories that people have and the emotional connections to places are ultimately what matter the most and allow people to come back and vote with their dollar. They will vote for quality, but they won't vote every day for quality alone. They need to have more than that. And so the mission to leave people happier than we found them not only works for the guests, but it works for our team members and intercompany wide as well. And it just allows us to kind of have a standard metric of success for each individual every single day. And there's a lot of intention beyond what I just shared, but that's the general view of that. And then I'm sure we'll get to it, but a lot of what we do in our business and what we're proving is possible is a way that we believe we can influence the way that the world does business and change it.
I do want to talk to you about that, and I love what you just said. I mean, it actually gives me goosebumps to think about the coffee shop as not just a business, and not just a great cup of coffee, but also a place of building community and a place that people want to go back to. And I think that's awesome. I hope I'm in Minnesota. I hope you'll come here one day.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Some good people out in Minnesota that I know through coffee.
Good.
Cafe Imports. One of our importers is out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I do want to get to your method of doing business, but before we get to that, how did you come up with the name Cat and Cloud Coffee?
Yeah, that's a funny one. So my business partner Chris Baca, who you wrote about in the blog post, he and I have been best friends, but also doing coffee together for the vast majority of our coffee experience. And we started a blog way back in the day, combining the two last names, truebaca.com. Way back in 2010, we launched that. And at that time, we were essentially blogging about our perspectives, not following the status quo, not just buying into the trends of specialty coffee, because it's a young industry, right? I mean, we got wine and food is hundreds and hundreds of years old. Specialty coffee is arguably 20 to 30-ish years old. Dancing with that. So we started this blog, and because of our presence in coffee through barista competitions and things like that, we had a fairly legitimate following even back then. And so a friend of ours who owns a great cafe, a couple cafes in Santa Barbara area called the French Press and Dune Coffee Roaster, she at the time did an art show depicting Chris and I as a bunch of different goofy characters. And one of the 15 or 20 that she did in her cafe was the logo of the Cat in the Cloud, which is the first of the two that I sent over to you. It's the cat holding the cloud's hand.
And that's the one that's on the screen.
Correct. And it's the one that's on all of our coffee bags. So the cat's depicting Chris, the cloud is myself. We couldn't figure out a company name. We were going back and forth, a bunch of crappy ones, a bunch of okay ones, and Chris's wife said, "Why don't you call it Cat and Cloud? You've been that picture since 2010." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so true. Yes, let's do that." And it was immediate. You know, when something's right and serendipitous, your heart and your gut and your mind all say yes at the same time.
Yep.
So that's what happened.
That's how it rolled. Okay, well, that's a great story. And actually, I just finished a series of blog posts, and I have a course on finding a business name. And doesn't sound like you went through any of the steps, but it's working. So sometimes it's not.
I mean, there was a lot. Yeah.
Go through all those steps, but no, like some of the things are, it has to be catchy, it has to be memorable. Then definitely you have that.
Right.
Yeah.
So part of it, there was a lot of intentionality. So, I mean, to speak to it, we knew that we didn't want to be known as just a coffee brand. We wanted to be a people development and hospitality brand in more, honestly. So we ensured to not put coffee in the name. And yeah, memorable, that was easy. Memorable, easy to say, kind of catchy. That all made sense. But it was, what are we going to be that's authentic to us, that's kind of playful because that's who we are, that allows us to be more than just Cat and Cloud Coffee. We're just Cat and Cloud. We're not Cat and Cloud Coffee as a business.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So anyways, that's a little bit more of the background. I didn't want to dive too deep into the whole process.
Yeah. Well, so tell me about your business model, which I find quite unique in the world, and talk about not doing status quo and making a go of it. I think it would be interesting for consumers, but also others in the food business to understand how you operate and are true to your vision with your employees as well in your method of doing business.
All right. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of intentionality in it, and it took a lot of work, right, to come up with values to begin. You know, we took the three owners to start, and we all individually wrote out a list of values that we believed in and we wanted to be depicted in our business, and then we found our best amalgamation in the words that collaborated the best between all three of our values to align the place to start. But beyond that, we wanted to make sure that we had a company that was invested in people development and retention. And we think that, I mean, people often look at cafes, with the exception of maybe Starbucks, because they're huge and the big ones, they look at cafes as like a stopover job. And we don't believe that that's true. For one, people often do the whole like, oh, another cafe is opening. And they don't necessarily do that when a restaurant's open, because it's pretty normal to think, oh, well, a different restaurant has a different food and all food's not the same. The same thing is true with coffee. The experience, the coffee, the whole thing is completely different. And so for us, it's a rising tide lifts all boats, and different experiences are the spice of life. And that's why I think coffee culture works. So we said, how are we going to make sure that we can create longevity, buy-in, and ownership and authenticity in a group of people. And not only that, provide an opportunity for people almost to go to a business, like turn our cafe into a business school. And I was just talking about this on our own podcast, but in life, people in the world have the opportunity to essentially say yes or no to the people they're around, right? And so it's like, oh, I don't like you, I don't communicate well with you, you know what, you're out of my life. At work, you don't have that opportunity. And so we see this bigger picture, I guess, opportunity to change people for the better. And if we can do that by teaching them to communicate with different style of human beings, to really learn how to navigate relationships and also learn to grow together in synergy, which is one of our values, then we ultimately are improving the world outside of our business as well. So it was like, we have all of these crazy ideas, and it's how do you make them work? So you start with values, and you start with what you can offer people, and we wanted to make sure that we were offering people the ability to rest and take care of themselves, because your best ideas and your best overall anything really comes from when you're happy and when you're able to not stress about things. If stress can come off the table as best we can, you're able to, think more critical, be more creative, be more engaged. And so we open with health benefits. We open with 10% profit sharing. We open with 4 weeks of paid vacation to our full-time employees, which is anybody over 30 hours. They only get to use those 4 weeks, though, if they use the first 2 weeks in the first 6 months. Then they can acquire the other 2. So the point is not you can acquire it. The point is you can acquire it only if you use it. So we're forcing people to take care of themselves as best we can. For those who decide to not go with our insurance options, we still offer them a $200 a month health stipend to go towards, like a health, whatever they want to do on their own, right, if they opt out. So we're still doing that. And then we make sure to involve our team members in educational opportunities. So we sent 32 team members over the last it'll be 3 years in September. We sent 32 team members to coffee growing regions to help us purchase coffee and to experience the supply chain and to understand how it works to do business. And then beyond that, whenever we go to like an industry events or visit wholesale partners or deliver trainings and things like that, we make sure to bring a couple people from the team so they can experience that as well and pick up learning opportunities. And that ultimately all goes back into retention, more professionalism, better experience for guests, and you can kind of see the ripple effect that comes out of that, I hope, by that explanation. And apologies, it was wordy.
No, I love all your words. That's great. That's an amazing business model, because you hear large businesses in particular, complaining about, they can offer benefits and health insurance is breaking our business and we can't offer these things to our employees or we'll go out of business. And I'm not going to comment on CEO salaries and things like that. But it sounds like you're able to offer all of that as a small business, and you have to be profitable if you're still in business and you're expanding to open a 4th location. How does that all work?
Right. So, yeah. Well, what it works like is it's a bit of a sacrifice for leaders at the beginning for what we believe in the long play will be a win for all. And I think that's the difference is American culture and business culture teaches the owners, and everybody kind of perpetuates this by not doing what we're doing. They essentially feel like, cool, I've been screwed my whole life. If I'm going to open my own business, I'm going to make sure I'm getting paid a ton of money or whatever in comparison to my team. And to start this business, my family, straightforward, was homeless for 6 months. I have 2 little girls and my wife, and for 6 months we didn't have a place and we were legitimately on welfare, and it was really hard and intense because I put it all into this. But on the flip side, and you're right, so our net profit, was like $150,000 last year, net profit, right? Including we build out, we do SBA loans, and the salaries of myself and my business partners are lower than most salaries for business owners would be, probably all business owners would be at this point. But we think that the ability to invest in more leaders in our team and in training and education and spending it on the things that matter will come back tenfold to us in the future. Not only us, the other people who come along with us on the journey. And I guess I didn't even mention that we have 4 employee owners. We set 15% equity of our company aside, 5% per owner, for team members to earn, and we've started at the beginning of the first 4% investment over the next 4 years for 4 of our team members.
Wow. I mean, really, that is amazing. I'm a bit speechless. I haven't heard of anybody else doing that kind of an offering with, and working with employees that way. And the consistency of your values and mission throughout your operation, and that you're actually doing it. And even 3 years in, you're still doing it. That's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you. And I wish you all the success in the world. That is a great business model. I applaud what you're doing. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, that's really amazing. So I'm a lawyer, and I happen to read about a little bit of I met you because I read about legal issues that your company is involved in.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been unanticipated, I'm guessing, because it's kind of a smack in the forehead, like, what? Talk to us.
It was laughable.
Talk to us about what's an expensive laugh. Talk to us about Cat and Cloud.
Yeah.
And
Good old Cat and
raining on parades.
Gosh, yeah, we got ourselves a really nice. Okay, yeah. So we got a lawsuit, right? Back in August, we got hit with a letter from the lawyers from Caterpillar, which is a really well-known insect and also tractor company, heavy machinery company specifically, and they're petitioning to cancel our trademark, and we did exactly what you did just then, which is laughed, because whatever, different industry, doesn't matter, shouldn't matter. Didn't really do anything with it because we assumed it would go away. And then we got a second letter saying they were pursuing this, and so of course we got connected with our lawyer. We had already, gotten our trademarks for everything, because, like, I guess you mentioned in the blog, but the truth is we want to be able to grow our business. As the idea is how large can we make it in the context of remaining ourselves. And so, just one more like notch of the hat of one thing we're doing cool is we offered an internal franchise program that just launched like 2 months ago, employee partner program, which essentially allows us to select individuals who care and want to do the work to allow them to go start up to 4 of our own cafes in another city and earn 25% equity in those cafes specifically, along with their salary. So whatever, we started working on all these things, and here comes Caterpillar trying to cancel our trademark, trying to get us to not print the word cat on any merch, and you have to defend yourself or you lose your trademark. And so we for one, our lawyer knew one of the lawyers on their team, and we thought, we'll make this go away. Our lawyer knows them.
Hold on a second. I think it'd be good
to
explain how that Caterpillar uses the word CAT, right?
Yeah, right.
They shorten their logo is cat.
Yes, and it is specific to cat with that yellow triangle under the A. That is their current trademark they hold. Okay,
so you have a trademark, Cat and Cloud, and that allows you to use Cat and Cloud on apparel, because there are different. I don't know that everybody knows there are different categories that when you register your trademark, and it's actually kind of tricky. Whenever somebody says, I'll just register myself, I kind of cringe, because that can be a make or break for somebody. In your case, I think it is as well. So you register in different categories, like the class 25 is the one that's in dispute here, I think, and that's for use of cat on apparel. Yep,
that's correct. So they're trying to cancel our class 25, and that is on apparel and merchandise. And then the rest, we protected under, copy and that whole scene. And so we're protected. We're going to be able to keep our business name no matter what. But to call into question the term cat specifically was, ridiculous, because we're in different industries for one. But then if you go to the USPTO website, you'll find that they're actually going after cat with a K, and also many others, almost 200 other small businesses that are registered. And a lot of them don't even use cat individually. So we're cat and cloud. So theoretically, somebody could argue, well, cat stands alone, even though there's an and cloud, there's spaces. They're going after weird things like assault cat, one word with a K. And that, to me, kind of goes against their own argument, which is, oh, we're just trying to protect the word cat and protect our brand, and we're trying to, their blanket statement is they'd like us to focus on our core business, which is coffee, which makes me very frustrated and angry because it's a backhanded way of negating that they're going after people in a secondary portion of their business as well, because it implies that their main business is clothing, even though their main business is heavy machinery, and they're using it as an argument against us, when really it's just saying the same thing about them, and we could say the same thing back. It's hard, it's frustrating, it takes a lot of energy, obviously money. It could take up to $100,000 for us to, go through discovery and put together strong arguments, because they send us terabytes and terabytes of information, and they're like, in my mind, that's just a bullying move where they say, enjoy, pay your lawyers to go through this and find the right, whatever, information to back your case. So it's hard.
That is a really difficult thing, and I'm always kind of harping on, if you want to do this, you want to prevent litigation if you can, and then, if you can't prevent it, you want to be able to be successful. I mean, from my limited evaluation of your case, it seems like you have a really good chance of being successful. But one of the things that people don't seem to understand about litigation, or I mean, I guess this is not all out litigation, is it? It's a
not yet.
Yeah. But the time that it takes away from your business, and the cost of attorney's fees, but also the amount of time you're not able to devote to expanding your business or attending business matters.
I very much am with you on that. You're kind of held in this tension where you're right? We should theoretically have no problem winning, quote unquote. But they have lawyers who are, their job is to figure out if we didn't do something super specifically, perfectly to the T, and if they find the one mistake, they have an argument, if there is one. Hopefully there isn't. But you never know with small businesses, because you don't necessarily have to, check every single possible box to get your whatever trademark or to get anything. So it's interesting because they have the opportunity to oppose a trademark at the beginning, which was 4 years ago. That's weird that they didn't, for one. But then on top of that, you're right. Our best bet is to kind of get into the media and be loud and hopefully negatively affect their PR so much that they're like, it's not really worth it. We're not looking so good. And that alone takes so much effort and focus from myself and my business partners, which very much takes away from the focus of growing our team, working on all the educational foundation for our current stores and our leadership programs, but also the next one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so it's hard. It's really stressful.
It's a huge, yes, very stressful and a huge time suck. And it's hard I think it's difficult when you're involved in it to separate yourself from that. And, because it's always there in the background, like, what if we can't, and what happened? You never know when somebody enters this arena, you never know the outcome, even though it seems to me that you should be successful. But, even in winning any kind of litigation or legal matter, there's always a huge cost. So it's the win I put in quotes, because it's never a pleasant, and I'm a big fan of trying to avoid that if you can. But obviously you couldn't in this case because you weren't in the driver's seat on that. What I think is so interesting about you and your operation is that you wanted to leave people happier than when you found them, and you also have a mission of changing how business is done, and you're using this litigation and your mission and values to do something kind of unique with it. I think you started a GoFundMe page. Is it GoFundMe?
Yes.
To help finance litigation, and
yes.
And you're also, if you raise more money than you need for the litigation, you're donating the money.
Yeah, we'll donate it to locally the Boys and Girls Club, and also the Boys and Girls Club in Deer Park, where Caterpillar currently has their headquarters.
So in Deer Park, Illinois, you're donating to the Boys and Girls Club, any excess.
Yes, that's the plan. That is the plan. And honestly, my dream, and I'm trying to figure out, how to make it happen, but I'd love to go serve free coffee out in front of Caterpillar and, give a bag of coffee to each team member who goes in there and just kind of give them a heads up of like, your company has all of these, their company has pretty amazing on paper values, mission, ethics, ethos, the whole nine. You read them and you're like, oh yeah, I want to work with this company, but the actions aren't really lining up. And I just want their team to know that that's happening, or just to see maybe there'd be a way to have a real conversation and see if it's even worth their time and what they're really trying to get. I mean, it sounds like it's SEO searches. Maybe they're trying to work on like something cloud-based, and so really deep down they want Cat and Cloud under their moniker. But I don't know. They're not going after cloud. It doesn't really make sense, and that's the hardest part for anybody. Is why is $54 billion of business need to go after all these small businesses, and what's it going to do for you at the end of the day?
Well, that's true. I mean, what does it do for them? I mean, they have to protect their trademark, yes, but I think this is overboard. And cat is a generic term, and you have to wonder ultimately what do they get out of it? It's different. I wrote a couple of years ago, Adidas is also, a lot of big companies are known for aggressively enforcing their trademark, and Adidas went after Tesla. So that was that was for the 3 bars. Tesla was using the 3 bars in the E, and that again, they were going to put them on shirts. And so, but that you can see a little bit more because apparel is one of Adidas' main lines of businesses. But that was at least a more level playing field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't see.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, you don't see Caterpillar going after Cat and Jack or Cat in the Hat or anybody with really any money. Well, anybody who's obviously having some sort of success in terms of money. They're only going after the small time, and whether that builds a case for them to go after the big time if they win, or if it's just easier for them to go after the people they know can't really defend themselves monetarily, doesn't really matter. It's weird. In my mind, if you really wanted to earn a case, you'd go after the big timers first and then envelop all the small timers afterwards. But there's something else going on.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's a good thing to do, but they obviously have their mission is probably, it sounds like I don't know why they would do that actually. Why would you want to squish a coffee shop? If you were an up and coming big equipment company, okay, that's different. So it's hard to understand. I'm sure they have a reason for it that they would articulate, and that they have.
I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear a real answer, like an honest. Well, yeah, one that's not made for repetition and not made for classic PR with just jargon and specific lingo that you're like, okay, it feels like a computer printed this out. Like, where's the human being who's going to speak to the reasons behind it and the why? And that's a big part of our business, is speaking to why we do things and how we believe they can affect, whether we're right or wrong in the long run. We at least have a reason. And this doesn't have any clear reasoning.
Yeah. Another thing I say frequently is just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Oh, man.
And this is a case where I think that Caterpillar would be well advised to step down from this kind of activity.
I wish there was a way to make that loud and clear from a very broad perspective.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing all the right things. You're working on it, and it's a process, right?
It's true.
Yeah. Well, Jared, one of the things that I ask people during every conversation is how does what you do impact what's for lunch? How does that impact what's on people's plate?
Okay, so how does the work that Cat and Cloud does impact people's like daily life, and when you say what's on their plate, for just give me a better visual for me.
So
Are you saying like
what's for lunch? The food
yeah.
system, how people's choices that they make about the food they eat, and including
Got it.
food and beverage.
Got it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, for one, I mean, the things that we do, I believe, allow people true connection and a true safe place to be themselves, whether you're working for me and my team or even coming through the doors. You're going to feel accepted. You're going to feel like you're part of the community from day one. It's going to be authentic. It's not going to be forced or fake, or for lack of a better term. I actually hate that people call it corporate, because I think you can do what we are doing on a corporate level and change the way the world does business. But as of now, corporate often means regurgitated and not inauthentic. So we have a place where you can be authentic. You can come and you can get coffee that is sourced not only by the owners and the people in power positions, but team members there who can speak directly to the stories of going and meeting, Damian Chavez in Honduras on a small town on the top of a mountain in the Santa Barbara region called El Cedral, and how he originally left and, had to illegally immigrate to the States for 5 years to earn money to buy his house and provide for his family. And now, because my company buys all of his small lot coffee, that he is sending not only his kids to school, but his niece to school. And, you can see that, and they can come back and talk not only about the quality and what he does, but what's happening. And to do that and just to build, I guess, a synergy between what you do and drink as a consumer and how what you're doing in our cafe actually impacts the people who are working for you, the consumer, i.e. my team, and myself, and how it ultimately builds something bigger, is a powerful thing, and it can be done, when, gosh, you kind of are unloading a can of worms, because it also goes, into education for my people and helping them to be better human beings, whether they stay with me or not. I mean, I want people to leave, if they ever leave my cafes or our company, our roastery or whatever, marketing, wherever they live in our company. I want them to be, first of all, the best team member wherever they go, or amongst the best upon hiring. But I also like people to see a resume and be like, oh, you work for Cat and Cloud? You're almost a yes without an interview, because we know how hard they work on you before any of this happens. And then again, other than that, you're supporting us being able to build careers for people who live in the third most expensive city in the United States of America, and allow them to stay here, and hopefully, perpetuate a community of care that it lives near a place called Silicon Valley, which is more bent on money and production than people.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's the straight from the heart best answer I could give, because I feel like it's really comprehensive what we do, and I'm really passionate about that. So it's really hard for me to just break it down simply. So apologize for the long answer.
No, I'm not asking for any format or any soundbite or anything. I want your honest answer. So I appreciate that. And as you were talking, I was thinking that another benefit is that, as the agricultural system has become more and more corporate, my personal opinion is that we need to support, smaller organic farmers and around the world. And so because we will not have diversity in our food supply. And
Yep.
so what you're doing also impacts that.
So big time.
That impacts.
They grow other things on those farms as well.
So that impacts what's available to people in food choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
So thank you.
Of course.
So I want to know, can I order your coffee? Where can I order your coffee? Where do we find you? How can we support your mission? And how can we support your GoFundMe and get some money to the Boys and Girls Clubs?
Awesome. Thank you for all that. Okay, so, the easy thing to know are catandcloud.com, spelled out. That goes straight to our website. And for those, I don't necessarily expect anybody to donate to the GoFundMe, and so great if you do. But for those who just want to help and also receive something, order any of our coffees. It's great. Our coffee is good. There's descriptions on there. You can kind of learn about our business. You can share our story. I think that is the biggest thing that matters. If anybody's interested in wholesale or even even partnering, in terms of wholesale, that is a big goal of our company, is to take people alongside of us and teach them how to do business the way we do. We just held a partner forum. We brought people from all over the United States who commit to being, partners with us. And this isn't specifically to cafe. So tech, offices, whatever. If there was interest in wholesale, you could reach us, wholesale@catandcloud.com. Those are ways to just support our business and keep us going forward. We have a coffee podcast where we share, my business partner and I, Chris, the Cat and Cloud Coffee Podcast. It's easy to find. We share a mishmash of interviews, but also just personal development, professional development. We rant, we cuss, so heads up if you're, not into that. But especially my business partner, he's got himself a mouth and he loves it. But we share honestly and authentically with things that are going on with us, down to even vulnerability, like mental health and things like that. And then, we have a GoFundMe. You can search Cat and Cloud on the GoFundMe, and we're trying to raise $50,000. There's a good chance if we go to bat that this could cost closer to 100, but it just feels hard for us to ask for such a big amount of money from people just to fight a battle. So it's all we're thankful for anything that comes in the GoFundMe. If you share it, fantastic. You could share it if you don't even donate. And the biggest thing that anybody could do aside from that is to help us spread the word. Who do you know that has a loud voice? Who do you know who'd be willing to stand up for myself and our small business, but not only us, the other 200 that haven't been able to find a voice or use their voice? And we're speaking out for them too, because small business is the American way. It's the thing that makes us all special. It's the spice of life. And if it's all under huge corporations only, we lose that and it becomes too vanilla. Mm-hmm. And so we want to protect that, and we feel like we have a voice to do so, and we're not willing to go quietly. So that was a long list of potentials. Awesome. If you're ever in Santa Cruz, we have 3 locations. Come on by. It's all on our website.
That is so awesome. Hey, you said one thing, supporting the other 200. What did you mean by that don't have a voice?
Well, check out the USPTO office and see all the other businesses Caterpillar's trying to take away their trademarks from, as well as already won against them. Weird ones. The keyboard cat, that was a viral YouTube video. A cat playing a keyboard. He was selling shirts. They hit him, and he settled somehow with them. But, they're going after nearly 200 of the 300-ish patents so far on trademarks. So they're going after a lot of us, not just Cat and Cloud. We're just the only ones talking about it.
Did not know that. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, good for you and your business partners, and thank you so much for taking even more time out of your busy schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it. I'm so proud of you guys for what you're doing, and wish you the utmost of success always. And I want to open a coffee shop now.
Well, we can help anybody figure out how to do it. But if you want to do it well, it's going to take some attention, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, I want to open one of your coffee shops. I want to come out there.
Oh. Well, let's, where are you? Minnesota?
Minnesota. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Well, maybe we got some people who are willing to move over there and start a whole revolution.
There you go. It's a good spot. It is.
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Jared.
You're welcome.
Go fight, win.
I'm going to do my best. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.